You were just listening to the intro of Scars and Stripes, the latest single from Toronto-based punk outfit The Bare Minimum. I got to chat with Cam, who sings and plays guitar for the band, about the new single, as well as how The Bare Minimum truly embraced the DIY nature of the roots of punk rock, from recording their own stuff to making their own videos. We also learned about the band's love-hate relationship with the Dufferin Mall, or Duff Muff, as many Torontonians have affectionately nicknamed it. This explains the interesting backdrop for some of the official band photos. Spoiler, they were taken in the mall's Walmart. Anyway, this is a short one. I hope you enjoy. You know what you were doing when things started going to shit and the lockdowns started being enforced? Do you remember what you guys as a band were doing, or even just you personally?
Well, as a band, we were kind of on the same trajectory that we're on now. We're basically going to go the single route. We had all these elaborate plans for like music videos that were complicated and even more out there than our previous ones that all kind of got shelved with the pandemic. And so instead, we've been doing these weird, either an animated video or in this case, like a quarantine style music video. I have to say, it's been a pretty underwhelming pandemic in general. It's been just kind of like tedious. I feel like we were promised zombies, but instead we just got like hand sanitizer and Zoom calls, basically.
Right, yeah.
So it's just like, it's basically the same as it was before, just a bit more inconvenient.
Okay. Right. I see what you mean. And for you guys as a band, have you just been doing Zoom meetings? Is that how you've been keeping in touch with the rest of the guys?
For the most part, yeah, we do. I mean, we don't really meet up all together. I've been meeting up with them individually to kind of like record stuff, or individually to kind of like shoot a fragment of a music video. So yeah, it's just been basically kind of like life in general has been under the pandemic, just kind of like fractured and kind of existing on the internet.
Yeah, definitely. Are you the video guy in the band generally? Like,
yeah, I do. I mean, I do like kind of like the interviews on the YouTube channel. For the music videos, to kind of collaborate on the concept and I'll kind of work on it.
Okay, I was watching your interview with the Jasons.
Are you a fan of the Jasons?
I hadn't heard of them before, to be honest. So yeah, that was just opened up a whole new world to me of music to listen to. But just man, I really love the visuals that you have going on for everything. I just couldn't stop giggling about stuff like the little clips you were like jumping to whenever they were talking about something. Really great stuff.
Well, thank you.
Are you in video? Like, what do you like do outside of the band?
No, I don't have any professional video experience. We just kind of learned it. Most of the stuff we do in the band, like recording and instruments, we kind of just learn ourselves. My job outside of music is I do programming for like iPhone apps and Android apps mostly.
Okay. Well, man, you're doing a great job. It's very DIY and punk rock, just like the band description is. So kudos to you. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
What about movies or TV shows? Have you been binging anything like the rest of us?
Yeah, I've been binging like a podcasts and books mostly. Not too much TV shows. I like there's a podcast called Our Fake History, which is kind of like a history podcast, but it looks at kind of like conspiracy theories in history, like the fake moon landing and the pyramids.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It kind of debunks them. So I've been binging that. It's a Canadian podcast. It's good.
Wicked. Sweet. What about books? What books have you been reading?
I've been kind of all over the place, just kind of like looking around. I reread The Culture of Narcissism by Christopher Lasch. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It was like a bestseller in the 70s. It's pretty old, and it's kind of like it's pretty steeped in like Freudian jargon, but I think a lot of the issues it kind of like talks about are kind of still resonate in 2020. Despite being so old of a book. And I've been reading a lot of books kind of related to it. There's there's a publishing house called Zero Books Publishing that writes that publishes like works by Mark Fisher and others that kind of relate to it. Capitalist Realism would be one I'd recommend. And so that's kind of like the stuff I've been into lately, like the last few weeks.
Cool. Yeah, well, let's chat music. Let's talk about the new single, Scars and Stripes. Is that kind of a teaser for an upcoming album, hopefully?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, we're kind of, we put an album out in 2017, we put an EP out in 2018. And then after all that, we were pretty exhausted and we kind of just decided, for a little while, we're just going to put out singles, just get a song done and put it out. And then I suppose, we are sitting on a bunch of singles and we have a bunch of songs done. And so sometime in the future, after a few singles, we'll probably collect them all and add a few unreleased ones and pretend, call it an album. Okay.
Well, tell me about the new song and how would you say the new one differs from your older stuff?
Yeah. It's a bit slower and a bit less kind of like hardcore than our older stuff. We tried to I think we were trying to write like a hit with this one. Whereas before we were kind of writing like songs that are a minute and a half and just like screaming and as fast as we could get them done. So this one's a little bit atypical for us. It's a bit more straightforward and melodic.
True, yeah, I definitely got that sense to it. It sounds a bit more in the pop punk realm versus like you said, like the faster, heavier stuff. Was this also done in a very DIY style? Like you guys recorded yourselves and all of that?
Yeah, for sure. Like I recorded the vocals for this one in a broom closet, just over there.
Right.
There were like the bass and guitars are all done at home. The only thing we do like in a studio is drums. Just because in the past we used to mic drums ourselves in the jam space, but we've kind of progressed past that and we kind of go to a professional engineer for drum miking just because it's a bit more complicated.
I did find that this track sounded very polished compared to the older stuff. So you guys are like definitely getting better and better with the more stuff you're putting out. It sounded really good. If you had to explain to someone, like give them an elevator pitch of what the song is about, what would you tell them?
It kind of relates to those books I was referring to earlier. It's, we were trying to write lyrically, it kind of reads like an internal monologue of someone kind of struggling with authenticity and emptiness. And it kind of relates to cultural narcissism in general, kind of prioritizing the appearance of things over the realities. So like in social media, people caring more about how their life looks versus how it actually is, and kind of like the illusion of wealth versus the reality of it. And when I was younger and just getting into punk rock, I would read the liner notes in the lyrics almost like they were like a source of truth. Like I would like those Good Riddance albums were teaching me about the world and kind of like telling me what I should believe in. But I think in 2020, it's just kind of outdated, and we're more interested in kind of raising questions and getting our listeners to think for themselves and maybe pointing them in the direction of resources like those books.
Gotcha. Who did the artwork?
Oh, it's his I don't actually know his given name, but it's Baker's Dozen on Instagram.
Okay.
And he did the artwork for our previous single, Bone Storm.
Cool. Yeah, it's I loved it. That it caught my eye immediately. I don't know. I guess people will be seeing it by the time the podcast comes out, this episode, so we can describe it for the listeners. But it's essentially just a really fucked up looking Waldo from Where's Waldo. It reminded me of like Ren and Stimpy style cartoon, which was Very cool. How did you guys just find the piece and you're like, that's it? Or was this like a bit of back and forth figuring out what the design would be?
Yeah, no, we came to him with the concept. We
Okay.
wanted it to be a Where's Waldo-like figure.
Yeah.
That was a bit screwed up.
Yeah. What was the reason for that?
Um, I guess kind of it sort of the title sort of it was illustrative of the title. Just I guess because he has stripes and we
Okay.
wanted to have him all beat up and have scars.
Right.
So we wanted it to be like a really literalist interpretation of the title.
Cool. I heard there's a music video coming out for this too.
Yeah, yeah. It's a quarantine style video, so we kind of filmed it ourselves, mostly in our apartments, and then we got a director from Bulgaria called Dimitar Drew to shoot some scenes for us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually out today. It's being premiered on New Noise Magazine's website.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get hooked up with the director?
I was just looking through Instagram frantically. Like it was a bit of a panic because, like I said, we had all these plans from music videos, all these things we kind of knew how to shoot ourselves. But since the quarantine's been in effect and social distancing, all those kind of went to the garbage. And so I was basically just looking for anyone who could shoot well and work under these conditions,
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. And then you just found this guy. Wait, is he based here or is he based in Bulgaria?
Oh, he's in Bulgaria.
Is this how you came across Stephen Hutchins for the Bone Storm video as well?
Yeah. I've been a fan of his animations like since his Newground days.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I wasn't friends with him. I was just a fan and just approached him about doing one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that video too is just, I don't know, like I said, I just spent so much time just looking through your channel, and that video is so great too. Whose idea was it to get some of your band photos taken at what seems to be a Walmart?
Yeah, it's at Dufferin Mall. We're
It's at
big
the Duff
fans
Muff.
of kind of
Beautiful.
Yeah, making fun of Dufferin Mall is like our favorite pastime, and so we couldn't really think of anywhere else to go, and that's just where like we needed to do band photos. We didn't have a location, and that's just what happened.
Right, and like, did you guys get stopped or anything? Or did anyone? I feel like at Duff Muff they wouldn't care.
Yeah, no one cared. I mean, people got in the way, but
Right, yeah, that's awesome. Or how do you generally find new music?
There's a lot of good bands out there. I spent a lot of my time digging through the archives trying to find them. I don't know. I think I'm optimistic about it. There's lots of like barriers with making money and opportunities, and obviously like COVID destroying touring. But I don't know. Every year I find multiple bands putting great stuff out that inspires me.
What are some of your sources?
I don't know. Like there's some good like it used to be like Dying Scene was my favorite, but that just went down. So I would say like New Noise Magazine, where our music video is premiering, is a good source. I still go to punknews.org, even though it's kind of defunct. It still has stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it totally does. And for sure, that's been a very good resource for me for doing my research on bands a lot of the times, like just looking at older interviews. Well, speaking of new music, what are some like new artists that you've come across that you think are really good?
Lately I've been really into let's see, there's a new band called Pink Shift. They only have a few singles out, but they're I think they're from somewhere in the States. They kind of sound like they're really a pop punk band. Their latest single reminds me of like My Chemical Romance, but just more DIY and fun.
Okay.
There's a death metal band called Necrot from Oakland. They've released a bunch of singles, and their new album's coming out this month. I think it's going to be really good. The singles are really strong. We did an interview with Pity Party. They have a new album called Concrete.
Pity Party's
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
The new Raging Nathan's album is good. I like it. The new Dragged In album's good. I like it.
Cool. Do you generally like just kind of like stay in the punk rock vibe? Is there any like weird genre that people wouldn't assume you would listen to that you secretly like?
I like honestly, it is mostly in punk and metal that I listen to, but I really like old Canadian hip hop, like the Rascals and like Chalk Lair.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's like so many hidden gems in their discographies.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. You've been around long enough to know the scene, like the music scene in Toronto. Like, who are some of the Toronto bands that you guys maybe have like played with, or just that you think are like really good up and coming bands in Toronto?
Uh, the one that sticks out is Lime Ricky. They're like a new pop punk band from Toronto.
Cool.
They're just really fun. We played a
Uh,
show with them. Um, I don't know. Our old bassist Mike plays in a band called the Reckless Upstarts. They're an Oi band. They're based in Windsor, but they're really good.
cool, man. Right on, Cam. Thank you so much for chatting with me.